publicly say this enough, but I do actually say this quite a lot to my team. I hope enough. I hope they really recognise this and notice that I do say this, but I don't say this enough publicly, definitely not. Hope I say it enough to them to show my appreciation, but really proud and in massive gratification of the team that I've built. I'm really proud of them. What sparked this is Lucy, the operations manager on the property side of it, not the training side, on the property side. Done a post today, I shared it, she said thanks, and I said no, I'm super proud to be part of the team with you, you know, and I am really proud of being part of that team and having the team that I've got around me at the moment. And I definitely tell them all the time. Hope I tell them enough. I guess they would answer that if I do tell them enough. Hope they recognise it enough to see my actions as well. But I don't say it publicly enough, so you know. So I thought I'm going to jump on today and say it publicly that I'm really proud of the team and being part of the team that I've got at the moment. So I'm Harvey, I'm a remote property investor, and there's different styles of property investor. Like I run through this all the time. There's 4 different types of property investor. So you've got your hat, and I modelled this. Who's read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book. So in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, he calls it the cash flow quadrant. So your cash flow quadrant is there's 4 different types of like people, where you've got your self-employed, you're employed, and your business is business person, investor, etc. So I've modelled that in the property world, and I've called it your IQ, not your intelligence. It's not the intelligence test, it's the investor quadrant. So in the investor quadrant, you've got 4 different types of investor. You've got your hands-free investor, part-time, solopreneur, and entrepreneur investor. And the difference between them 4, there's a video in the remote property investing community. It's on my YouTube channel at the moment, Harvey Growth Properties. You check out that video and it explains it in depth what the different types of investors are. But a lot of people want to get to entrepreneur and they get stuck definitely in solopreneur because they can't let go of things and they can't build teams. They think they can do it best themselves. Or they just enjoy it. If you enjoy it, that's fine. But they just can't take that step back to build up to invest in the business and in their team, because it takes some investment. People fail to realise, we all talk about property investing, but building a team, building a company takes investment in that team also. So you have to take a step back from your wages. John jumped on with the training yesterday, which I'm super excited about and super honoured that he's jumped on with the training. And this is one of the things he was saying, do I do this now? He's still investing in properties. And I say so many people get caught in that. Because property gives you a relatively quick return on your investment, like you buy it, you refurbish it, you rent it out, and you're getting cash flow from it. Investing in staff, in systems, in processes, in teams is a longer return on your investment. If you're quick and good at it, you might see that return in 6 months. But in a lot of cases, it might even take a year before you start balancing back to the same levels of wages or income you was at. So like when you look at these, it's the investor quadrant, the IQ, hands-free is somebody that pays somebody to do it. But let's forget about hands-free for a minute. Part-time is when you're doing it on the side of your job. But you have to start at part-time first, unless you're very lucky and you inherited loads of money or you've saved up a lot of money. Ted's done this, by the way, but he's a definite exception of rule. Unless you've got a lot of money to go at it full-time straight away, you have to start as part-time, so as a side hustle from your job. Then from going from part-time, you go into solopreneur. You can't jump from part-time to entrepreneur, because entrepreneur needs building up. And to build this up, it takes effort, systems, processes, teams, and building a team. You need systems to build a team, but unfortunately it's a chicken egg thing. What comes first, the systems or the team? You do need to be into some sort of level of operation to be able to systemize things, to bring them team in. If you don't have them systems and processes to hire them, to identify them, to attract them, to train them, to keep them accountable along the way, also for themselves, to keep them guided along the way, you might attract good staff, but you probably would lose them, or you might luck out, but you won't repeatedly do that if you haven't got all this in place. And this is the thing, if you've ever read the E-Myth, this is the biggest thing that's a failure for businesses. Majority of businesses fail in today's world, unfortunately, and it's just a true statistics. And this is one of the main reasons behind it, because the owner just tries doing everything themselves, and it's all in their head, and they don't get it out of their head. And even down to hiring, even when they hire somebody and they just try and spit it out of their head. My old hiring process was literally, here's a laptop, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going to do, I'm going to get on over here, buy some properties, I'll leave you to it. I definitely wasn't one of these type of people that micromanage or even like feel like I could do it all best myself, I'm happily pass over tasks. But my problem when I hired as well is because what happens is most people think about hiring once they get to a stage where they're overloaded. But the problem is once you're overloaded, you're emotionally stressed because you're stretched and you're putting out fires and you're really stretched. And generally, if you're good at business, you get to that overloaded stage from the result of being good. Then you stretch yourself too far. And then when you are overloaded, you hire people like on emotions, and you haven't got the time to get the stuff out of your head. So you should be building out your systems from day one. So just documenting what you're doing from day one, like screen recording the activities you do when you look on Rightmove, when you do your like your bookkeeping, when you do like filing your stuff across to your accountant, all these different things. Everything you do online can be screen recorded and created into processes. And if you do that from day one, and literally it's net time. So when you screen record them, if you talk through what you're screen recording as you're doing it, this is net time because you've got to do this anyway. No extra time, net stands for. So you've got to do that task anyway. So if you screen record it, verbally say what you're doing, there are processes for when you start outsourcing it. Because when you do start outsourcing also, when you go to outsource to somebody, you're like, where do I start? What do I give them? And like, yeah, if you just pile loads of information verbally to them, it overwhelms them. So it's not a very good experience for them. I remember when I first hired, I hired exactly the same as that. And I've got some lucked out and got some great people still with me, but I got it wrong. I lost some really good people, but I also hired some really poor people. And some of the good people I lost was because we didn't have that strength there. And it just, the relationship gets sort of, just gets soured a little bit, not badly. I still get on with everybody apart from one person, no, two of them that I hired, you know. But yeah, it kind of gets spread. So you've really got to be thinking about this from day one. As I said, I literally used to hire people, give them a laptop, and then go get on with it, and ignore them for a few weeks, hoping that wow, I knew there was so many fires to put out. I hope that they just find their way through it, and no news was good news kind of thing. And I just kept my fingers crossed, hoping for the best. And the best didn't happen. It got me in a real big hole financially and like mentally. It's meant to take loads of pressure off of me, and ended up putting more pressure on me. Like when you've got to let go of staff and things like that, it's a horrible job, you know. Or when staff are not performing and you know they can, and that gets really awkward when you've got to pull them up. So having the good systems in place makes it so much more easier. It's not easy because otherwise if it's easy everybody'd do it. But remember, even Apple, Google, all these have talent wars. So finding talented good people is very, very difficult. So you've really got to have a systematic process around that. And this is what I pride myself on today, and pride being part of this team, that we're doing this. We've still got things to learn. We've still got to get this better. We're still growing, and it's going to be constant growth. But remember, as a company, when you grow from the dynamics of being 2 or 3 of you, then you grow into being 7 of you, then you grow into being 14 of you, and then you grow into being 24 of you, and it keeps on growing. Join us Thursday. Someone could put that in the comments, bit.ly/invest remote. Is a free masterclass this Thursday, and there's no sales on there, so just join us. It's loads of value, show you how you structure this thing and systems in there. You can take screenshots and plug it straight into your stuff. But thought I'd mention, because I don't mention it enough publicly, I hope I mention it enough to them and encourage them and show my gratification to them. But I thought I'd do a little public one of being really, really grateful of having a fantastic team and being part of this fantastic team. I don't feel like a boss in any which way, but definitely, obviously, I'm the leader of the company. But yeah, it's really fantastic to be working alongside these people. We face challenges. We're not perfect. We're still learning. We're still growing. But that's part of the joy and the journey of it. But yeah, remember, building that and understanding that is such an important part. But if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms, and have a great day, everyone.